Good evening and welcome to the regular City Commission meeting on December 17th, 2025. This is our last regularly scheduled meeting for the calendar year 2025. A little bittersweet, but let's convene the meeting and ask for the roll call, please.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Marl.
Here.
Mayor McGriff.
Present. As you are able, would you please stand and join us in the flag salute, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight on the agenda, we don't officially have any ceremonies or proclamations, but I did want to call attention to two folks who are going to be leaving our Planning Commission who have served in a ongoing capacity. And I'm sorry that they aren't here tonight, but we'll get them to City Hall for some photo ops. So I'd like to recognize Greg Stoll, who is leaving the Planning Commission after 7 years of service. And I certainly want him to know that we've appreciated all of his work and diligence. I remember when he came on, and he's just been very helpful and just been very good in working with our staff and getting things done. And then last but not least, Dirk Schlagenhofer also served, I thought Dirk served 8 years. So, well, maybe it seemed like 8 years. Also leaving the Planning Commission after 7 years of service. And again, they went through some really tough projects and things that the city was facing, and they always were very thorough, both of them, in their service. And I just thank them very much for all their work on behalf of the city, and also being on the Planning Commission, which is not necessarily a really easy job. Commissioner Mitchell and I both served full 8 years. So we have great appreciation, and I just want them to know that they will be missed, and they'll be doing something else on the second and fourth Mondays of the month, but maybe they'll be serving in another capacity.
And so, I served with both of them, and they were both great planning commissioners.
Yes, I would agree. So, like I said, we'll get in touch with them and get some photo ops, but just wanted to recognize them and appreciate their service. So on our agenda tonight, under regular business, we have Tim is here along with Scott, and we have a, excuse me, I don't see any slips, so we don't have any public comment. Okay, sorry that, does anybody in the audience want to say anything that's for items that are not on the agenda before I move on to the next item? No, thank you, Betty. Okay, so let's move on with the presentation, Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee Annual Report, and we just had the interviews, and there'll be some recommendations forthcoming on some new Park and Recreation Commissioners. So Scott, are you coming up with Tim, or he's gonna be all by himself? You wanna be all by yourself? Okay. Not that we don't like you, Scott, we love seeing you, so. Do you have a written report for us?
Thank you. No, I do not have a written report. I just made a PowerPoint for this year.
Sure. So you just need to flip that thing up so that you're not having to bend over.
Thank you. And yeah, it's great to be here. So my name is Tim Lanehart. I am the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee Chair. I believe this is my third or fourth year on the committee. This is my first year as chair, so my first time doing this report. I was here with Ken last year doing the report, and just, yeah, happy to be here in your last meeting of the year. I'm going to go through, I figured the easiest way to kind of break down what we've done so far this year is just to kind of go month by month by what our meetings covered, different recommendations we've given to City Commission, and then we'll end off with different initiatives that we're looking forward to 2026. And if you have any questions, of course, please feel free to kind of kick in while we're going through it. So our first meeting was in January. One of the bigger things that we started to review was the cemetery price reviews. Just something that we're kind of overlooking as a whole. As a committee, and one of the initiatives that we talked about during this meeting last year was reviewing Oregon City's fee structure. What we charge the public, is that up to date for 2025. A lot of the fees haven't been updated for 15 to 20 years. So we had a presentation and we looked through 3 different options in our January meeting. We had the option to double the fees. This would have meant that we would have had 0% subsidiary from the city. We had the option to increase them by 50%. So that means we would have made back the cost about 75%. And then the last option reviewed was a 25% increase. We went through, debated a lot of these options. We didn't make a recommendation in this meeting, but we looked at the pros, cons. We looked at some comps that were in the area. I believe Deputy Director of Parks and Rec, Tom Kissinger, had made this to us because Scott wasn't with us at the time, and just kind of looked through the different options. At the end of the meeting, we reviewed, we asked for a few different questions on, is our cemetery comparable to others in the area? And just kind of when was the last time things were updated, just things we didn't have in that meeting. Other things we covered in that one, we had the water services update from the Clackamas Water Environment Services, the Tri-City Good Neighbor program presentation. They just wanted to come by. Of course, you all probably know about that. Just let us know the funds that we have that need to be used for that area within the next few years, the timeline on that. I put a few notes on the slide there of kind of where we're at with 1.2 million. I'm sure the commission's covered a lot of the Clackamas Park that's going to be going on, but so we just talked to them going through that. Let's see if I can. Just to kind of finish it off, in our next meeting, we did make a recommendation. We voted unanimously to raise the cemetery rates by 25%. This would achieve 65% cost recovery, where the city would subsidize the other 35%. The main goals of raising it this amount rather than doubling it or 20 or 50%, which I talked about, was we want to review this every 2 years. We figured if you doubled this cost or go 50% of this cost, it might be a little bit of shock to the city. I'm worried about losing different people who may use our cemetery services versus the neighborhood areas that are there. We recommended to tie the fees to inflation and review every 2 years. So that was the first recommendation we made this year for the city commission. And then the next part of our February meeting was the Wesley Lynn Dog Park presentation. This was another one made by Deputy Director Tom Kissinger. So this was exciting. One of the first new parks that I've really kind of got to talk about, or at least upgrades to a park since I've been a part of the committee. The goal of the project was for it to be funded through Metro's local share program, which would cover 100% of the costs or near that. And then there was just a big debate about, I don't know if you've ever seen a Parks and Rec Advisory Committee meeting, there's a lot of conversations on size and layout of the dog areas, accessibilities, the parking considerations for that neighborhood, because they hadn't gone to the city neighborhood meeting yet for that, the impact on existing wetlands, potential for signage, and then just how much it fit into the recently approved Parks Master Plan. Dog parks, especially gated dog parks, were one of the top recommended areas in that, so just something we were excited about. Here's the 3 different options Tom showed us during the meeting that we kind of talked about. And you can kind of see the pros and cons on each of them. Option 1, there's 1A, 1B that's really just, they're off-leash areas, but they're breaking it up in between a small area and a dog area. We weren't making a vote on what it would be like, but we were going through what it could look like, what we could present to the city or to the different neighborhood areas there. And yeah, it was exciting. Generally, we liked option 2 the most. It gave a good amount for lodge, it used the most amount of the area that's there. And again, in a few slides, we'll kind of go through what was approved, but option 2 ended up being the most popular forest because we had a large dog area, small dog area, and then you could put signage up for the wetlands. A big part about getting the grant was just making sure that, and Tom could probably describe this better than I was, but there are certain parameters we had to hit in order to get Metro funds for the project, and that's kind of why you see interpretive signage, improving the wetlands, things of that nature that are there.
And the dogs aren't going to be in that.
No, there'd be a separate area and an area you can walk through. That would be that. That would be more for if you've been to other areas where you can kind of see what the natural plants are. You would be able to learn a little bit and have the signage for that while you're experiencing it as well. Yeah, so those were the first two meetings. March meeting was the 5-year capital improvement project discussion. This was actually a very long meeting for us. So capital improvement plan is a way to plan and communicate with the public, plans resource needs for the short and medium term, ties into overall funding strategy, opportunity for community engagement and input. So what this meeting was is a long presentation looking through every park area that Oregon City had, classifying the parks between pocket parks, neighborhood parks, and just making sure that we're labeling every single park that's there. So when we are asking for grants or we're asking for what a neighborhood needs and looking at our master plan, it matches up. We reviewed parks inventory. Again, this was looking at every single place, what a current park has, how does that service the neighborhood, canvassing the Oregon City as a whole, what's the farthest you have to go to get to a baseball field, that sort of thing. And then, potential new parks and facilities reviews, Park Place concept area and Thimble Creek concept area, just different areas of Oregon City which are growing that currently don't have their needs met, as it kind of shows by the parks plan, and just where we can do what we can do for future planning on that. And then something I'm sure that's been talked about in this is the need for a new aquatics and rec center reviewed for future planning. And that's something is going to be a big initiative for us in 2026 as well. At the end of it, the biggest thing was giving every committee member a good breakdown of all the parks. We made a few different recommendations, such as reclassifying Abernathy Park as a natural area rather than a pocket park, because when it's classified as a pocket park, it shows that a neighborhood or area's needs being met, which we didn't think that one did classify as that. And that was March. May meeting, we had an introduction to our new Parks and Rec Director, Scott Archer. You guys all know. It's been awesome getting to know him, seeing his background. I thought Tom did an excellent job as well, but it's been great having them both. Scott gave us a review of the city budget, which has just been approved in regards to park and recreation, capital projects we had included in the budget, Whistler Lane Dog Park that I talked about before, Clackamas Park implementation phase 1, and then master plans for end of trail site and the new aquatic center. We also got word that at that meeting that you had confirmed our cemetery fees. I believe it was basically exactly how we had recommended it being approved. And then Deputy Director Tom Kishinger reviewed all the summer programming, and that's a really exciting time for Parks and Rec, concerts in the park, movies in the park, the July 4th celebration that was there, National Night Out, which is always exciting. And a big thing was, as a committee, we wanted to see how can we do more outreach? How can we reach out to the public and be ambassadors for Parks and Rec, showing them what's being done and really trying to get the community more involved. We requested, see if it's in here. I would request little handouts that we could kind of give out at there and a booth that we could be at for these different events so we could volunteer, be a part of the city part. Here's some of the brochures for the summer events, which I know I've seen a lot of you at while we were there. But that was just a lot of excitement for that meeting. And then I did choose. Sorry, this should actually be our next meeting that was there. We had done the Payson Farms HOA Park donation request. So we had a presentation from Payson Farms HOA. They had wanted to donate one of their smaller parks in their neighborhood to the Parks and Rec department and just the Parks and Rec grouping of parks. It was a pretty long debate. You'll see it over here in the next 2 or 3 slides on what the process would be like to accept a donation of the park, what the cost of accepting the park would be. There's a lot of questions we had to ask in this first meeting before we could make an actual recommendation on that. We requested for Scott to provide analysis on that, and then we tabled that for the next time. And then the other follow-up for that meeting was the advisory committee outreach, which I talked about. Our goal that we had reached in that meeting was to go to the summer events, be able to hand out pamphlets, be a part of the brochures, or be a part of the booths that were there, and just talk to the public. Oh, no.
I don't think, no, don't pay attention to that.
Oh, was like, I can go faster. We can speed this up if we.
Go faster.
Okay, I'll keep going. September meeting was just the part 2. We got the expected additional cost to have the park donated. It was $46,000 in expected updated fees over the next 4 years. This would be eventually replacing equipment, irrigation that was outdated, and then $9,300 in annual maintenance costs. We had, following our conversation on the capital improvement plan, that reviewed all the parks, we'd also seen that that area had multiple parks in that area where the needs were being met. So we didn't come up with a resolution on this topic at that time, but it felt like we were going towards not accepting the donation just due to the additional burden of cost that it would provide Parks and Rec and just the needs being met in that area. Last thing we had was the final draft of the capital improvement plan by Tom Kissinger. It was just a follow-up going through some of the information that we had and the actual implementation of that plan. And again, why that plan is important is and we'll show it here in a second, is it shows you the planned projects through the next bienniums, through the next years that we're going to have. And this kind of highlights what we're going to be working on through the next few years, or at least what the department's going to be working on and what the committee is going to help advise in. So for next year, we have the Rivercrest Pathway, the Wesley Lynn Dog Park, Singer Creek Annex Trail, and then within the next year as well, the Hillendale Restroom replacement, Park Place Pathways and Shelter, Chapin Park Playground expansion or renovation, and then the Pioneer Center roof replacement. I'm not going to go too far on this list. Every 2 years, we're kind of hoping to review it, but this is what we kind of went through for the next 2 years. That's going to be part of the committee. And then, of course, we had a presentation from Denise, who was there, and we had talked through concerns about the Parkway Park off-leash dog area. We were given explanation on the current issues of the area, which had started as a one-year trial program. There's noted increased concerns of the uncontrolled dogs in the area. And after the debate, our committee did recommend to end the temporary off-leash park area to the commission until more information could be gathered. Basically at the end here, October, we had tabled the Payson Farms HOA recommendation and opted not to add them into the Parks and Rec portion that we had. We reviewed the budget breakdown for the Parks Capital Improvement Plan for the next few years. And then final thing that we had was our December meeting where we interviewed 6 new applicants looking to be a part of the PRAC meeting. I was actually part of the interviews as my term was ending at the time, so I did not actually take part in that meeting. Final slide, just things were our initiatives for 2026, the new aquatic scenic rendering process, end of the Oregon Trail vision process. Our goal is to review the fee structures across parks and recreation, summer camps, pools, things of that nature. Wesley Lynn Dog Park completion, hopefully, Chapin Park playground replacement, and the Hillendale restroom replacement, plus all of the other topics that get brought to us. And that is a recap, our presentation of the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee for the past year. So
you know your term's not up yet.
No, it's not up yet. It's exciting. So, yeah, that is what I have open for questions, and just appreciate the time here in your last meeting this year.
Just have one. So what is the committee contemplating about replacement playground equipment at Chapin? Because, I mean, the plastic is looking pretty sad and has been for a number of years.
Yeah, that's actually a project that I'm really excited for, probably my favorite project that I'm excited for the next few years. We haven't seen the renderings of what that can look like. I know a big issue with Chapin Park is the parts that they have to fix them, they just don't exist anymore, so it costs more money to do that. I mean, what I would love to see is that area completely redone. We haven't gotten to the part where it's renderings or planning things like that. That's gonna be hopefully within the next year. But my goal would be with more accessibility for the park, shade that's actually in Chapin Park, because that park gets extremely hot if you've ever been there. More accessible parking, especially for the baseball teams that come in and just have a mess in that area. There's a lot of ideas, and I think that park can be restructured with the space that's there to really be one of the better parks that we have. I mean, it's a beautiful spot, accessible, bikeable, but that would be my personal goal on it, but we have not actually spoken through what that playground's going to look like.
One thing I would mention is that having used the shelter there several times, there's a wind tunnel right there. You're in that shelter and that wind coming off, I mean, there's nothing to sort of block it. And I mean, it's cold. So one of the things I'm hoping that we can look at just from the standpoint of a user, is maybe putting some plantings or something there to block that, because, you're having a picnic out there and you have food that's hot and it gets cold really fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for when we have, the open public commentation or commentary on what that park can look like and the ideas on it. I think that's probably the best part of my committee and the best part of parks is getting the community involved and getting all the ideas that you can. So, it's the greatest good that a park can be. So I'm excited there. It's one of the parks that as soon as I moved to the city, I thought they need to update this. And I think it can be a really beautiful park for us.
Gentlemen, any questions? Okay, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
And this is a staff question. I'm trying to remember what we ended up deciding as a commission for the cemetery rates. Did we go with the 50% subsidy in the end?
I do not recall.
We figured out to get you up here one way or the other, Scott. Can't get away from it.
Hoping I didn't have to make that walk up there. No, thanks for the question. Yeah, it was the recommendation from the PRAC was the 25% increase. And I was right around the time I was starting, but my recollection is you went with that recommendation, the 25%.
Right, so I think it was the 75% cost recovery, though, I think is what you're asking. I think that's what we went to. So I think we went from 50 to 75, I believe. And so it was a 25% increase, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, I think we're now at a 65% recovery rate, cost recovery rate. But we added the annual inflator, which we did not have previously, so that we'll keep up, hopefully, with inflationary costs. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Great.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great year.
All right, next on our agenda, we have the adoption of the agenda and review of the consent agenda. Are there any questions about anything on items 7A, B, C, and D? Or do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Marl?
Aye.
Mayor McGriff?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Right. So on our agenda tonight, we have 3 public hearings, all of which are first readings. And we have, the first one is first reading of ordinance number 26-1001, emergency annexation for 19717 Leland Road. And then we're also going to do this one together. So we're also going to be hearing a report on item ordinance number 26-1002, emergency annexation at 19530 South Central Point Road. And I am assuming these are health hazard annexations because we got septic failures. Thank you, Christina.
All right, thank you, Mayor, City Commission. Tonight you have a joint presentation of 2 emergency annexations that occurred this spring and summer. We work with the property owners in our Public Works Department to get them hooked up to city sewer with the understanding that they submit for an annexation application. These are both single properties. They have almost just identical situations. So I'll go through the presentation and you'll kind of see both properties. And there's 2 ordinance this evening, so you'll probably need to do 2 separate motions. And then we do have one of the property owners available on Zoom. If you have any questions, and the other property owner, they give their regards, but they weren't able to make it this evening, though they were at the Planning Commission hearing. All right. So let's see.
And you said these occurred in the spring?
Yep, the spring.
And we're just now getting the annexation requests?
We received the annexation submittal this summer, and it's just taken a while to get
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
paper,
Thank you. Sorry, I
the paperwork, and there were some complexities with some of the legal descriptions, so it just took till this fall.
Thank you. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Sure. So annexations are not subject to 120-day late land use deadlines. They are analyzed through our Chapter 04 with our annexation factors. These go to the City Commission with a recommendation to the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission met on November 24th, and they unanimously recommended approval for these two projects. So in both situations, these were failed septic systems. Both lots received city services. The annexation brings both of these lots within the city limits. Both applicants requested not to move forward with a zone change application at this time, so they're going to stay FU10, which is a county zone, but it is not recognized by the city, so no development is proposed. The property on Central Point Road, you'll see with a blue star on your left. It has about 19,660 square feet. The property on Leland Road, you can see the star to your right, and that has about 20,000 square feet. You'll see some street views for both of the properties. These are single-family homes on these lots. Both properties had access to a city sewer in the front of their property, and to the one on Central Point, it actually was on the neighboring abutting street. So they did have easy access to city services. I won't go into detail, but we do have the annexation factors in our code available on this slide if you want to go back and ask any questions. In general, staff recommends approval of both annexation applications with a recommendation to withdraw the territory from the County Service District for enhanced law enforcement. Recommend the property be removed from Clackamas River Water District. Recommend the City Commission concur with Tri-City Sewer District's annexation, so they both submitted for Tri-City Sewer annexation, and this ordinance actually is needed for the paperwork to finish that administrative annexation. And both applicants know that they are zoned FU10, and therefore no additions can be made on their building until such time they are rezoned. So they can get a building permit if they need to, change out anything inside their house, if they have anything they need to work on for electrical. But if they needed to add on square footage, there is no city zoning, so there can't be any city review until such time they move forward with a zone change or their property has changed zoning by the city process. So that's that. And then your direction this evening, approve both ordinances. Approve the first reading of both ordinances with a modified condition and revised findings. Deny the proposal and provide revised findings, and continue the hearing and request more information. So staff recommends, number one, approve the first reading of both ordinances. I do have a little postscript. I know in the zone change application that came to you this last fall with this exact scenario where we had an FU10 property and not really an ability to add on to their house until the property was rezoned. We kind of brought up that we have about 7 to 10 properties citywide that have these FU10 zonings because they went through emergency annexation and did not choose to move forward with the zone change. We kind of look at it looking forward and looking back. So moving forward, after our conversation last week with the local volume street standards, or local street volume standards, we really came to an understanding that this is also tied in with the update to the transportation system plan. What a lot of cities do is they do the TPR, the transportation planning rule analysis, all the way out to the urban growth boundary. And in some cities, they actually pre-assign what your zone will be upon annexation. So that's something we could look at the transportation system plan update. So if those either one or both are done, it would make future annexations much easier. And if you identified the zoning of specific areas, it would allow automatic rezoning at annexation. So that's kind of looking forward. And I know our staff is tracking the grants for that transmission system plan update, so I don't have any more additional update information, but we will keep you updated on that. Looking back, there are some options the City Commission can have. I mean, this is more of a thought for future goals on your end. You could wait to the transportation system plan update and do a legislative file to rezone them. If you want to do that beforehand, starting this next summer, because of Senate Bill 974, urban housing applications that involve upzoning properties actually are done at a staff level decision with appeal to the City Commission. So there could be a consolidated application if property owners wanted to do that. But that is something the City Commission could look at, or just wait until the transportation system plan is updated. So this is just more food for thought. It's not really related to tonight's application, but I kind of wanted to give you the status of where we are related to these future urban 10-acre properties that are inside the city. So I'm available for any questions, and I know the applicant for the Central Point project, the annexation 2502, is here on Zoom this evening.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I've got one. Can you go back to the slide you were just on?
And then I'll open the public hearing, so.
Sure.
And it really doesn't relate to this particular application, but that bottom point there, rezoning of residential zone is type 2.
Mm-hmm.
Does that, when it says rezoning, would that include, for instance, these properties that are FU10?
Yeah, if
Moving
property
them to a
owners
city?
wanted to do that, no, if you are in the city and you are FU10, which is a 10-acre zoning, you wanted to go to your city zoning, which would be, R6 or 8 or 10, whatever your area is, you could request a zone change through the administrative process without the public hearing. But you still would have to make transportation planning rule analysis until such time we've done a citywide look through the transportation system plan.
Okay, thank you.
And then that would still allow for notice so that people could.
There's a new notice because
Yes,
everything's new.
Explain that, yes.
There's a new notice with Senate Bill 974. It is a public notice limited to 100 feet, but we still would send it out through our normal citywide electronic noticing, and it is appealable to the City Commission.
Just want to make sure that we don't preclude opportunities for public input. And 100 feet is nothing.
So we can't.
Is that the minimum? Can we?
We are limited to 100 feet, but we also provide electronic notices in our normal electronic noticing process, which we will continue to do.
Well, as long as we could have them posted, people at least could go by and say, oh, something's happening here. Okay, do we have any other questions for staff? And I can open the public hearing. I'm going to open both public hearings for the properties located at 19717 Leland Road and 19530 South Central Point Road. And I don't see anybody in the audience that wants to speak on this particular item, and I don't think we have any questions for any of the applicants. The applicant that's online.
That applicant did not actually connect. They indicated
okay.
before the meeting that they wanted to join and then did not.
Okay, well, hopefully they're listening. We don't have any questions for you. So barring that, I will close the public hearing and ask for deliberation by the commission. Ready for a motion, I guess?
And I'd recommend we take them one at a time.
Yes, we're taking one at a time. So let's do ordinance number 26-1001. We have a motion, please.
Move to approve the first reading of ordinance 26-1001.
Second.
Thank you. Ordinance number 26-1001, an ordinance approving emergency annexation proposal GLUA 25-00017 AN 25-0001, and approving the annexation of certain property located at 19717 Leland Road to the city of Oregon City.
All right, let's have roll call, please.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Marl.
Aye.
Mayor McGriff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, so let's have a motion for the first reading of ordinance number 26-1002.
Move to approve first reading of ordinance number 26-1002.
Second.
Ordinance number 26-1002, an ordinance approving emergency annexation proposal GLUA 25-00035, AN 25-0002, and approving the annexation of certain property located at 19530 South Central Point Road to the city of Oregon City.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Marl.
Aye.
Mayor McGriff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, we'll have the second readings at our next commission meeting. Is that going to be the first meeting in January, or is it the second?
First.
First, okay, so we'll be reading the second reading on our first meeting in January. All right, let's move on to our next item, which is first reading of ordinance number 26-1003, zone change and comprehensive plan amendment 214 Tumwater Drive and 313 South Second. And this is basically changing it from institutional to R3.5. So let's have the staff report.
All right, thank you, Mayor McGriff, commissioners. Once again, this is two properties and one presentation and one application. Zone change and comprehensive plan map amendments are a type 4 process. They go to the Planning Commission, City Commission, a lot like what we just did with the annexation. The Planning Commission met on November 24th and made a recommendation. It wasn't universal, but they made a recommendation of approval. I'm going to move forward.
Did you mean it wasn't unanimous?
It was not unanimous. It was 6 ayes and 1 nay.
And
I think it related to some of the previous conversations you were having at the urban renewal meeting just prior to here. All right. So just to recap, you know a lot of this, but on May 21st, the urban renewal agency directed staff to make preparations to sell these two properties that were owned by the urban renewal agency. These homes were purchased in 2007 and rezoned in 2008 for a city project didn't move forward, and so they're zoned institutional, and residential is not a permitted use in an institutional zone. So it is a pre-existing non-conforming use. And so if plans are being made to sell the property, it really needs to be rezoned to a use where single-family residential and residential is permitted. So the renewal has indicated that their goal is to provide housing to lower moderate income families or individuals, thereby offering affordable home ownership to those who would otherwise be unable to overcome the current housing market barrier. This map shows the locations of the two properties in blue, that's the institutional zone. The area in brown is the R3.5 zone, which is what is being proposed to be rezoned. And then mixed-use corridor, you see across the street in orange. So the quasi-public is the comprehensive plan designation, and the zone is institutional. Here is two street views showing the property on Tumwater Drive and the property on South Second. While no development is done during our rezoning comprehensive plan map amendment, we do look at where utilities are, and the site is set up for access to all city utilities. We have approval criteria of Chapter 1768, and that is findings are found in your staff report, but I provided these if you have any questions. And finally, the main staff recommendation really relates to bringing these properties into a conforming zone, which is R3.5. Changing the homes back to the original zoning will add these lots to the city's regular housing stock. Right now, they're considered a pre-existing non-conforming use and are located in a neighborhood with good transit access. This proposal supports the goals of the housing needs analysis and the housing policies in the comprehensive plan. Generally, zone changes and comprehensive plan map amendments are not conditioned, so staff has not provided any conditions for this application, and any conditions would need to be proportional and have a nexus to the proposal. So staff is available for any questions you may have this evening, and I know the applicant is here as well if you have any questions for the applicant. Your direction this evening is to approve the first reading as submitted, as revised, deny the proposal, or continue the hearing.
Aren't we the applicants?
I know.
We
The
are
applicant's
here.
representative is here this
Do we
evening.
have any questions for ourselves before we open the public hearing?
It's
All right.
not technically ourselves, it's the Urban Renewal Commission.
Well, I
Yes.
understand, but we're part of that, not in this capacity, but, okay, I'm going to open the public hearing for review of ordinance number 1003, zone change and comprehensive plan amendment for 214 Tumwater and 313 South Second. And I don't see anybody in the audience or the applicants who wish to speak on this matter, so I'll be happy to close the public hearing, and let's have the deliberation and a motion.
I move to approve the first reading of ordinance number 26-1003.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the reading of the ordinance.
Ordinance number 26-1003, an ordinance approving a comprehensive plan map amendment and zone change proposal number GLUA 25-00042, CPA 25-0001, and ZC 25-0003 of certain property located at 214 Tumwater Drive and 213 South 2nd Street.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Marl.
Aye.
Mayor McGriff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
So we'll also have the second reading of that one at our next commission meeting as well. Thank you, Christina. All right, under number 9, under general business, we have resolution 25-39, reaffirming compliance with Oregon sanctuary laws. Did you want to say anything about that, Mr. Conkle?
No, I think that, we proposed a resolution. We worked on this, looking at other jurisdictions, comments submitted by the public, along with final review by our city attorney in chief, Davis. So we'd be happy to answer any questions about anything that's in that resolution, or if you have any concerns.
Any concerns? I want to go ahead and read this into the record. If you guys would like to help me, that would be great. We have resolution number 25-39, a resolution affirming Oregon City's commitment to the safety and dignity of immigrant community members and reaffirming compliance with Oregon sanctuary laws. Whereas Oregon City is the home to a vibrant immigrant community, including many families who contribute to the cultural, economic, and social fabric of the city. And whereas Oregon City recognizes the value, the diverse contributions of all individuals and is committed to upholding the dignity and respect of all people, regardless of race, color, national origin, ethnicity, immigration, or refugee status, heritage, culture, religion, sex, gender identity, or expression, sexual orientation, ability, age, immigration or housing status or economic status. And whereas the City Commission recognizes that trust between immigrant residents and local government is essential to public safety and to the effective and equitable delivery of city services. And whereas Oregon became the first sanctuary state in 1987 and has continued to strengthen its sanctuary laws, most recently through the 2021 Sanctuary Promise Act, HB 3265, which reinforces Oregon's commitment to protecting immigrant and refugees communities. And whereas the City of Oregon City has and will continue to comply with Oregon state law, including ORS 181A.820 through ORS 181A.829, which prohibits denying services based on an individual's immigration status, collecting information concerning an individual's citizenship status, using public resources to assist federal immigration enforcement, or otherwise providing information to federal immigration enforcement, except as required by a valid judicial warrant. And whereas the City Commission acknowledges that federal immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, actions have caused fear and harm in immigrant communities throughout the United States and Oregon City, and whereas the City Commission affirms that all residents should feel safe accessing emergency services, reporting crimes, attending school, seeking medical care, and participating in civic life regardless of race, ethnicity, place of origin, or immigration status. And whereas the values of Oregon City include fairness, dignity, and the protection and due process for all residents, and the City Commission seeks to support a welcome environment for all those who work, live, or visit the city. Would you like to read the second part?
Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of Oregon City, Section 1, the City of Oregon City reaffirms its commitment to the safety, dignity, and rights of immigrant community members. Section 2, the City of Oregon City declares it a policy of the city that the personnel and resources of the City of Oregon City shall prioritize the enforcement of City of Oregon City ordinances and Oregon laws, and that all city officials, including law enforcement officers, shall strive to protect the rights of individuals as guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution and the Oregon Constitution. Section 3, the City of Oregon City reaffirms that no city funds, personnel, equipment, or facilities shall be used for federal civil immigration enforcement except as required by a valid judicial warrant. Section 4, the City of Oregon City reaffirms that the city departments and personnel shall not inquire into immigration status, shall not share immigration-related information except as required by law, and shall not detain or prolong detention of individuals based solely on immigration status, and directs the city manager to ensure that city policies, procedures, and staff training remain in full compliance with Oregon's sanctuary laws and the commitments set forth in this resolution.
So it'll be approved and adopted at a regular city commission meeting held on 17th of December, 2025, and all of our signatures will be affixed to this particular resolution. So do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve Resolution 25-39.
Second.
And moved and seconded?
Commissioner Mitchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Marl,
Aye.
Mayor McGriff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Right. Thank you so much. Item B is second reading of ordinance number 251014, vacating 142 square feet of McLaughlin Promenade property located at 303rd Street.
This is the second reading. We recommend approval. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Move to approve second reading of ordinance number 25-1014.
Second.
Ordinance number 25-1014, an ordinance vacating 142 square feet of unimproved right-of-way located at 303rd Street, McLaughlin Promenade property.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Marl,
Aye.
Mayor McGriff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
This takes effect in 30 days, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Right. All right, item number C, city manager's salary adjustment and merit pay for performance. Is that Mr. Foils?
No, I'll take it.
No, that's you. Okay. Sorry,
It's
Catherine.
awkward enough. We don't need to throw more staff in this.
Well, we just like him. We just like to see him.
But he is here to answer any questions if you do have some from HR. He's here to assist the commission in making a decision tonight. So tonight is a request to review and consider any salary adjustment and merit pay for my performance as the city manager of Oregon City. I did request approval of a 2.5-step salary step and a one-time merit payment of 3%. This is consistent with how we review and consider management staff. We both use a step system if they're not topped out, as well as a potential of 0 to 3% on merit. We did go through my evaluation on December 10th, discussing my accomplishments over the last year, the review of the 23 through 25 goals, as well as the new goals that have been created for the new biennium, and the overall direction that the city has continued to improve and move towards, highlighting the projects we've completed, employment decisions and hirings that have been made, and the overall direction. And so really it's up to the commission. I did include in there just the history. This February will be my 10th year as the city manager. July will be my 25th year as an employee for the city, so I feel very fortunate to have had such a long career in one place. It doesn't happen very often. But also, just like I said, put back in here kind of since inception of my contract and working with the city, both my salary increases and historic merit pay. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Commissioners, thoughts, comments? Don't everybody speak at once.
Well, I think it's a reasonable request, and based on the performance review that we held recently and the progress we're making as a city, I'm in favor of this.
I agree with that. Tony, I appreciate your commitment to the city, and I think you've done an excellent job as a city manager. I agree with Mike.
Any other comments? I would also concur, based on everything that we've reviewed and also my own personal comments that I put into the evaluation, I would support the request. We have a motion?
I'll move to approve a city manager's salary adjustment and merit pay for performance.
Second. I think everybody will second. Been seconded by 4 people.
Just
Let the record
need 3 of you to
reflect.
vote yes.
Yeah.
You can all say.
Okay. All right. Would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Marl.
Aye.
Mayor McGriff.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. All right. Last but not least, communications.
I think that was my first time in 25 years that I've actually read ordinances before they were voted on. So, hey,
Well-
got that one checked off.
Well, yes, now you can add that to other duties as required
That's right.
and to your resume that you can read ordinances.
Just wanted to circle back on a couple things. One, yes, the cost recovery at the cemetery is 75%.
That's what I.
That's what the commission approved. We clarified that after you all were
Yeah.
talking, we went back and looked. I think the recommendation was lower, but the commission moved it up.
And where were we prior to that?
About 50. About 50,
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Okay.
Barely,
Yeah.
barely anything.
pretty much.
Yeah,
So the total subsidy now is 25% rather than around 50.
that's the target. yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and it now has the index too. Before it was not,
Great.
also was not indexed.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't compared to anything. It was just nothing, basically.
Yeah, and then second thing is just, obviously everyone's aware of the weather events that are happening. Over the next couple days, you're going to probably see some significant water coming down the Clackamas. Willamette seems to be doing okay, but the Clackamas is going to have a significant amount of water coming down. You're going to start to see closures around Clackamas Park area. Please don't drive through flood water, like especially with coming down the Clack. It's going to be coming down quick. So over the next couple of days, we'll continue to put information out on our social media. You'll probably see stuff coming out from Clackamas County Emergency Management over the next 2 days. I would expect the impacts are probably going to be pretty significant further up the river than where we're at here. But we did meet with Clackamas County Emergency Management as well as then our internal team, police, public works, communications, just prepping in parks and just prepping for what's going to happen down there. I would anticipate if we start to get up above the 30 foot, which is kind of where the cove starts to top Main Street extension, you'll see closures from McDonald's to the roundabout. And just so everyone's aware, the cove at Edgewater has 3 accesses.
Yeah.
2 are on Main Street extension. One's a
Shopping
little bit
center.
lower, one's higher in between the roundabout and 205, and then we have an open access into the back of Oregon City Shopping Center. We don't anticipate the flood waters getting that high. We anticipate that second access will be open, but if it does get high, we do have a third access into that facility. And then staff is just working, making sure, no one's out in those areas. No one's camping, in any of those shrub areas. We'll be out there tomorrow, making sure people are aware they need to get out of there and that there is a flood potential in the cove area specifically. I would expect the water to come up pretty high there. But like I said, I think we have a plan in place. But once again, please obey the signs. So that's all I have.
Have we gotten any updates from South Fork about anything, everything's great or,
I have no updates from South Fork right now.
Yeah.
I think I'd be more worried about Wes.
well, yes, I think Wes, I'm worried about Wes, but I'm worried about
Yeah.
The intake.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well.
We have not heard anything of concern at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to say that the communications we've been putting out on the e-blast have been very informative, and I'm glad we're putting that out there on a regular basis. Hopefully, people are paying attention to it, and they're not just going down, they're not driving down to Clackamas Park to check everything out. They should really not be going down to Clackamas Park and not leaving their car at the gate and walking in or doing anything crazy like that. Some of us have seen our share of floods here in town, and it's nothing to mess around with. Anything from the commissioners? Yes, sir.
One very quick thing. So C4 Metro was this morning. It was as exciting as usual.
Oh, my God.
But they did make an announcement. Metro is doing a long-term visioning process, looking out 50 years at what the metro area will look like in 50 years. And there is going to be a public meeting on that in Oregon City on January 15th at the Development Services Building from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Personally, I don't plan to attend because I think there's a pretty slim chance that I'm going to be concerned about what the metro area looks like in 50 years from now. But anyway, perhaps Commissioner Morrow might.
Planning on being around?
No, that would make me 122. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you're still looking good, Mike.
Not with that attitude.
Well, I didn't hear that last
He
comment.
said, not with that attitude.
Oh. Anyway, January 15th, Development Service Building, 4 to 6.
Yeah, that's frightening. Not that you'd be 122, but the Metro's planning
No,
for 50 years.
That's frightening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is frightening, yes.
I have a quick,
Yes, please.
if I can. It's actually just about the resolution we passed for the reaffirming the sanctuary. I'm wondering if we can get that just easily posted on the website, and then given that ICE is pretty clearly targeting the Hispanic community, I'm wondering if we can have that translated into Spanish and also have that posted.
Be great, yeah. And then could you send us electronic copies? Scan it and send it to all of us. It'd be great. So, yeah, I will be honest with you that I have major concerns about it because they are targeting brown people, and that's not good. I just have a couple of things too. So speaking of our friends at Metro, they are proposing to change the way that the supportive housing services projects get implemented and reviewed. And the committee is proposed to be very, very top-heavy Multnomah County. They're only planning on having one representative of cities from each of the jurisdictions, the three counties. And there is, the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium is very concerned about that there are 3 Metro representatives on there, 3 Metro councilors, and then you've got 2 to 3 from Multnomah County, 1 from Washington County, 1 from Clackamas County, and then the cities, and then some other assorted people. It's just, again, it's it's a huge proposal. The committee's going to be huge. I can't see how you're going to get a lot of stuff done with that many people. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that with the resignation of former city councilor Kathy Heisey on the TriMet board, there is a vacancy in our district, and the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium has been concerned that it was not advertised, was not indicated that there was a vacancy, and that we're concerned that they have a hand-picked candidate. So the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium is asked the governor to delay that appointment, which she has agreed to do, and so we are proposing that they look at some other candidates, and I think we're going to be coming out with a recommendation for a possible candidate for that position that would adequately represent cities and also have a background in finance. The proposed candidate that TriMet wants is a housing person, which I don't see how that relates to our district. And then the other thing is, just last but not least, Pete put this in the packet, so it's a 2025 Tree City USA application for certification, so I've signed it. And so we will send that in and get this moving, get our, I think, are we 13 or 14 years now that would be, or 15 for Tree City USA? He's going, I don't, yes, I'm correct, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay. I think the sign coming up Singer Hill says 13, so it could be 13 or 14 or 15. So anyway, so as we wrap up this last meeting of the year, of course, the city business will continue. It's not like we're not going to be doing anything. We probably will be, but I want to make a point of thanking all of our staff for all of their hard work, and particularly when we have incidents like this. And again, I keep hearing fantastic comments from the community about how great Liberty Plaza looks and the tree and everything. So Public Works, kudos again, and our police department for keeping an eye on everything. And especially to you commissioners, we have much work ahead, and I know we're all going to buckle down and get things done, but happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much, and we are officially adjourned.